How is it going, everybody? It's Civil, and thank you so much for purchasing this ebook. This ebook is going to be in the spread offense. Now, not to get it confused with last year with my actual spread offense that was in the run and shoot playbook. This is the spread playbook, and it's going to be the gun slot ace offset formation. And the first thing we're going to go over is personnel we want for this formation. And so basically, we're going to, preferably in every offense, you're going to want a faster quarterback. This is another offense because a lot of times we are sending out 5 routes. And a lot of people send pressure through the edge. You want me to just shoot up the middle with your fast quarterback. I like to use the Ravens in regs because Lamar is very fast. You can even use a team like the Chiefs, with Pat Mahomes, Dak Prescott, and the Cowboys. People like that, Mitch Trubisky, you can run with him. But someone who's a little bit more mobile. You don't need Tom Brady. You don't need route chems for this, so you don't have to have a Tom Brady in regs. Preferably, you want someone faster. Now, running back, the Ravens have Mark Ingram. You want someone who can catch the ball, who can fight for extra yards, who's kind of a bigger dude. Mark Ingram does everything I need him to do. And tight ends, you want some speed. We have an 83 speed, or I believe he's 86, and Hurst is 83. And on the edges, we want some fast people. Marquise Brown is 97 speed, who is great. You don't have to have a lot of speed here, but it's nice to have over 90. I'd say 92 is the lowest I would like to have here. In terms of regs, and MUT's a little bit different, especially right now because it's we're at launch right now, so speeds are a little bit different. But you want someone who is at least as fast as the D-backs. That's the biggest thing. You don't want the D-backs to be outmatching you. But our audibles for this scheme is going to be, we're going to have posts, we're going to have the RPO slot bubble, and we are going to have smash in at that one, which I already set. We're going to have post wheel shallow at that one. So this is our audibles for this. And what we're going to have a lot of times is that, let me just come out and random play, is that we want our trips, this is our trip side right here. We want our trip side to be to the wide side of the field, similar to trips tight end. We want our trip side to go to the wide side of the field just because we have a lot of things attacking this flat on the right side, and we have a lot of corner routes attacking the flat to the left side. And so this is the best way to have it. Now, we will have a few things where we will put our trips to the short side. A lot of times that's just coming off of hurrying up. And you can run a lot of the same things, just it works better with it to the wide side that I found. It's just easier to read. Things aren't as congested. And that's the really nice thing about this offense is that a lot of stuff is not congested at all. But a big thing to note with this offense is that you're going to want to take, if your first read is open, take your first read. We're trying to avoid getting sacked here. That's the biggest thing. We want to avoid getting into second and 15s, third and 15s. We have to avoid that. We're trying to keep the chains moving. This year, because deep crossers are not as effective, we're playing a very horizontal style of passing. So we're going to be stretching the field more horizontally instead of last year we really wanted to stretch that field vertically, hit the crossers, hit the deep posts, hit the deep corners. This year we're setting out 5 routes a lot. We're really trying to stretch the field horizontally, be able to make the right read, be able to pick up our 5 yards, be able to keep the ball moving. And then eventually we're going to be able to break one, or we're going to be able to keep moving the ball down the field. That's really what we're looking for in this offense as a whole. And we're going to be seeing that in our first play coming up here next. Alright, everybody, so our first play we're going to be going over in this entire ebook is going to be the play post. Now, this is going to be our money play. This is going to be the play that we can threaten them with every single snap. We're going to show up against a random defense. Only defense that really starts to bag this is man coverage at this point in the year. And man coverage will be toned down like it is every year. It's always OP in the beginning of the year, and it'll be toned down. I assume man coverage will beat this pretty soon. But all we're going to do is we're going to come to the line, and we're going to wheel our running back. Now, we're not sitting at the line. We're not waiting here. As soon as we break the huddle, we are wheeling the running back, and we are snapping this ball as fast as we can. We are quick snapping him, and we are going to see what happens. So you see, this is one of the best throws against man coverage. He will box out that. So I'll show you guys again. He will box out that corner most of the time. Right there was a linebacker, so it was a little bit different. I'll see if I can get another corner on him. Yes. So I'll show you guys what I mean. He will box out this corner. Okay, once again, it was not a corner. But you see, you can lowball that on the break, and it will beat man coverage. But the rest of the play just isn't very good at beating man coverage. I won't lie to you guys. But here, we're going to get into some other stuff to see. Right here, we have that wheel for a good gain. I'm not sure what zone the linebacker was in. But right here, it's really The reason this is such a good play, and the reason it's such a good play, especially when you quick snap it, is because you need to double flat to stop it, basically. And you see we have the smash concept on the right and the flood on the left, along with this post being a very throwable route. It's a very good route. I like it a lot. So here we go. We have that. And right there, it was a type of man coverage, and man coverage is going to bag it a lot of the times. Right there, we got side. I'm going to start going into some zone coverages because that is more predominant in online play, especially with the fact that I do believe that this is all going to get patched very, very soon. So here, I'm going to show you guys a Tampa 2, what happens with this cloud. So on the right side, we have, boom, that's just a normal cloud. I will show you guys a cloud pressed. It's the same thing every single time. You're going to get good yards on a cloud. So here, let's show the play art. So we have the cloud. He's pressed to the line of scrimmage. And you see how he backs up, and we're able to get about 10 yards. Probably it's consistently about 8 yards, give or take. So the next play, or rather the next thing we're going to be going over in this play is the left side. You guys can see how the right side gets open pretty well. Boom. That's the biggest thing. Be able to make that throw right there is the difference maker between your offense getting bagged and your offense being able to move the ball. And the reason for that is I'm going to show you this coverage right here. Because this is what a lot of people are going to do to you. This is what a lot of good players are going to start doing to you. Is that they're going to start using this side. And let me finish all my adjustments. So let's say it's something like this. So they're going to start using this side, take away the halfback wheel, take away the corner route, and then we have the post route taken away, we have the flat taken away, but the thing you have to remember is that this corner route is wide open against this kind of coverage, and it takes about 2 seconds to throw. It's a very fast throw. You just got to be able to make the read. That's all you have to do. And this will work against pressed as well. So we're just showing for demonstration purposes right here how even when it's pressed, boom, it's the safest throw you can make. All you have to do is read that sideline. It's really, really, really simple. And we're snapping this play in the matter of as soon as we can. I think it's like 5 seconds it takes us here to be able to quick snap a ball. So we're throwing this as soon as we can. Right here, we had man coverage, bad throw, but you see how the tight end is in front of the man coverage, so we're able to box him out if you get a good throw. It's really simple. Right there, I tried lowballing it for some reason. But I'm going to show you guys the next really cool thing about this play, and this is one of my favorite things about the play, is that, so say someone's running, so you know they're clouding this side, and they're bringing some pressure. They have this guy in here, and they start doing something like this. Right, okay, well say you know he's blitzing, but he's like lined up in like this alignment, and they're pressed, you know, they're bringing some real pressure. Boom, boom, boom. Let's call this guy our user. We're using him right here. We're trying to take away all this stuff over the middle. This is what you can do. Even with a cloud right here, you can lowball this right here. Even with a cloud, you can lowball that corner route before he even gets outside. So if they don't even have a vertical hook, even if they do something like this where they're being weird and manning him up right here and, you know, let's say this is our user right here and they have this guy in a flat zone, whatever it might be. You know, it'll say they do some weird, something weird like this, right? As long as they don't have a vertical hook right there or some kind of hook zone, we're able to lowball this right here. I didn't get a low, it says low pass, didn't look like a low pass. But as long as they don't have a vertical hook, they're not going to play that ball. It's really as simple as that. Right here, once again, we're going to show you no vertical hook, not playing the ball. And it's a super, super, super safe throw as long as you see that area of the field gets vacated and they don't go and use it themselves. That is really the best, one of the best things about this play is that you can lowball that for a good 8 yards against it. Now, I guess like a covered, so say they run a Tampa 2, you do have this flat route from the tight end, which I'm not a huge fan of it. I won't lie, it's not like the best route in the game, but it does help complete the flood. And, you know, we're able to get some yards out of it. Right there, we were able to pick up 10 because we stiff armed, which, as I made videos about, is the best move in the game. And it's really that simple. Like, we're going to come out here, we're going to snap this ball, and right here we have the opening, boom. Throw it right there. Or you can wait on it if you want to, if you think it's going to get over, but no reason to wait. We're sending out 5 routes. We have to be able to make a read fast. Right here, main coverage. it was tipped at the line of scrimmage. But you see how the man coverage, the tight end is staying in front. Tight end staying in front of him. And right here, boom. You just got to be aware. That's all you have to do. You have to be aware. And then, obviously, you send out all these routes. Boom. You can take off with your quarterback as well. Don't be afraid to do that, of course. I'm going to show you one last time. We're just making a read. It's as simple as that. Right here, boom. Get outside of him. That was simple. That's really as simple as it comes. There's no better play in the game than this right here. There really isn't. The final route we're going to be showing is what happens with the post route. Now, mid-reads will play this route, so if someone's leaving a stock mid-read, but a lot of times people don't because this is their user. So once again, we're going to mimic the user. We have the play art set up here, and watch what happens with this post. Wait for it. We can low ball right here. Now, this is a little bit longer of a throw, and it's not super ideal against someone setting pressure, but if you have the time to, you can make that throw right there, and that will gash a defense. Right here, again, we see it's open. We're going to click on it, come back to the ball. This play, if you throw it right about there in that window, is amazing. You can't ask for anything better. Right here, once again, we have it in the window. You can't ask for anything more than that. This play, literally, I've shown you every single route is useful. We can pick up real yards with every single route. Boom. There we go. That's going to be it for this first breakdown of the play post. Alright, so for the second breakdown of the play post, the route combo we're going to be showing you is we're going to block the running back, we're going to drag A, we're going to drag Y, and then we are going to motion this guy in on the post and snap him right here. And you're going to see how we have the double drags underneath, which are really good, obviously. It's just a little mesh concept. They're good underneath clouds. The really cool thing about this play, though, is if we're in Tampa 2 and we press, okay, and we know they're pressed, we know they're in a Tampa 2, we're going to watch what happens with this corner route. See what happens? You could pass lead that up, and it would get over top of clouds when they're pressed like that. They would get over top of them and give you a chance for a very, very, very large gain. Once again, we're going to press in the Tampa 2. Snap the ball. He got bumped, which means he's going to get outside it even better. He's wide open. This is a regular Tampa 2. It's pressed, which is what a lot of people do. Everyone presses, and we're getting huge yardage. So that's just a really cool thing to keep in mind. I'm going to keep showing you guys this play just in general. We really just have to make a read. That's all you have to do. Right there, I should have taken the drag. I kind of forced the throw right there. That's why you want to make sure you take your throws, because just like in every single offense, you have to take the throws that are given to you. Have this. The corner was going to get open, but once again, you're able to see that we're able to dump the ball underneath. Very easy to be able to get a decent gain out of that. I'm going to show you guys what happens if you... So the reason this is a good play is because, once again, let's put him in a spy, and let's do this. This post route is really, really good, especially when it's motioned in like this. It was open, but we got hit. It's going to split a cover 2 very easily. It's going to get... So either the drags over the middle are going to be open, or the post is going to be open over top. And we didn't set it up, but I will show you the post right here. So the post is open over top for a very easy throw. I didn't set it up with the double drags, which obviously you need to do. But once again, we motion them in. The mid-read will play this, but a lot of people aren't keeping mid-reads on the field. Mid-read plays the post a lot, as you see right there. But once again, no one's keeping mid-reads on the field. If they are keeping a mid-read on the field, then something else is open. You know, if you want to say, well, what if my opponent keeps a mid-read on the field, then that means they're using someone like over here. And if they're using someone over here, you're going to be able to do something like this where... So let's put this guy in our spy. And if they're using someone over there, then we have this little pocket right here to throw the ball into. Okay, so not many people are keeping mid-reads on the field. Although this is something good to know for defense, is that mid-reads are pretty good. That's something to note for defense. But we still have our flood concept on the left side as a whole. I forgot to set up the play overall. I really, really did not set up the play at all right there the correct way. But we have the double drags underneath. And that's the biggest thing, because now we're creating a mesh concept. Man coverage will get kind of confused with this because of the drags. The drags will kind of bump into each other a lot of the times. I'll show you guys this against man coverage real fast. And another really big thing about man coverage on this is that a lot of times so let's say we press man coverage, right? Boom, boom, boom. The setup. Motion them in. I think I might have been using the guy who was on him. So let me get off of that real fast. We have man coverage. Boom. And you see how he's going to be able to get a step on the man coverage. Both drags are kind of getting a step, but you can tell how this is a little man beater right here, just with the mesh concept underneath, because they do get held up quite a bit, and drags are pretty good at beating man. So that is going to be a second setup for posts. Okay, so the third setup we have for posts here is going to be a max protect setup. It's going to be assuming that someone's sending some serious pressure at us, and the typical way people are going to send pressure is by having some kind of shell like this, have that slot corner coming, something like this, and they're going to use her right here. And I'm going to show you what's super good about this, this whole thing right here. And that's going to be simply that with a max protect setup like this, we're going to be able to run this route combo, and it's going to be very good. Now, we can get creative on the backside. This doesn't have to be a corner. When they're pressed, I like to keep it a corner, because I'll show you what happens if it's just a corner. Boom. We're able to keep our feet in. We're able to get a decent throw if they're pressed and it's a Tampa 2. But I don't always like to keep it pressed, because if I know they're sending pressure, that means they're leaving a lot of zones not in the field. They're giving their user responsibility a lot of responsibility. So while I like to keep X on a drag and A on his corner route, because it creates a high-low on that right side, I like to get creative with the B receiver. Sometimes I'll put him on a curl like this. I like to put him on a hitch like this as well. So I'll show you with the hitch what happens. So here we're able to pick up the pressure, and we have two options. I'm going to go into instant replay real fast just to show you guys what I'm talking about, because what happens right here is really, really important. So obviously we are creating the dilemma right here with the drag. The user has to choose something, and if they're running just a base Tampa 2 shell out of it, you see how the hitch is going to stay right here and the cloud's going outside of it. That is the biggest thing, where the cloud will not cover that hitch. So that's something to note, that the hitch from the slot will stay inside of a cloud. And then we have the high-low right here. A cloud obviously isn't going to play it. If it's a hard flat, it will play it, and then the corner's open. So that's the best way to start combating three-man pressure or rather six-man pressure. That's one of my favorite route combos. We could also just put them on a curl if you wanted to. There's a lot of different things you could do in terms of three-man setups. You could get really creative. I like to kind of get creative with it, where we're doing stuff like this. You could even motion him all the way across and do something like this, where you're taking advantage of that side. Three-man pressure, I did not send 3, but you see how even with three-man pressure, this is a really good route. That corner route against a press defense is super, super good. Okay, so let's say this is our user. He's going to man up here. It's really that simple. Make sure, the biggest thing somebody noticed when I was throwing my drags is I was kind of waiting. I wouldn't ever throw them when they're right in front of the line of scrimmage. And what I mean by that is, I'll show you guys right here what I mean by that. So if we just say this is our user again, and boom, 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 boom. Don't be afraid to throw the drag in this little area right here. This is something that I was not doing for a while. And the spy kind of played it a little bit better than I thought it would, right in front of the line of scrimmage. But don't be afraid to throw the ball right in front of the line of scrimmage like that, because that is a really good place to hit the drag. You don't have to wait for him to be don't forget that he's not just a sideline route. Like, he's not going just to help create the flood. He's a crossing route. He can be thrown over the middle of the field for a few yards. That's a really good play to help combat these six-man blitzes. Another one that I like to do quite a bit is something like this, where I'm hitching him. I have, what am I doing? So I'm hitching B, I'm putting Y on an in route, and we're just doing this. And if they're bringing 6-man pressure, it creates a hard place to user everywhere for them. Put them on a drag rather. Because once again, this hitch is going to get into a really soft spot. That post is going to be hard to cover. A lot of times what's going to happen, people are going to leave the hitch to go to the post, you hit the hitch underneath. Really, when it comes to 3-man route combos, you just have to get kind of creative. Obviously, the best way to block it is a running back on the right and the tight end on the left. Although you can send out the tight end on the left, double block this side. It really doesn't matter. Just get creative with these route combos. Another really good one right here is this right here, where we're motioning over the corner route, and now he's becoming a post. And we're doing something as simple as this, and we can motion him back over. This against 4-man pressure. We're going to see how we hit him with a low ball right over the middle. We have 2 crossing routes. The post is really good. And that's another one of my favorite ones. I kind of forgot about it, but that is one of my favorite ones. Something really cool to do with this is the reason we have A on a flat is because when they're sending this pressure, they're usering right here. And I'll show you what we can do. When that flat goes out, we can hit him right here on the cut. As soon as he cuts, we're able to hit him for a low ball because the flat route is taking out the clawed flat, push him to the outside, and that's a really good thing. That's right there is a really good way to get I like to use that on like a 3rd and 4, 3rd and 5 or something. When I know someone's sending some pressure at me, and I know their user's not expecting that right there. They don't expect to have to shoot out like that. But that's gonna be it for max protect setups. The biggest thing is to get creative with your max protect setups from the play post, because like I said, this play has a lot coming from it. There's a lot of different stuff you could do, and I'll show you one last one. It's really just backwards. We were doing this earlier, now we have it from something else. We got sacked, but you see the route concept in its whole. Simplicity is very key when it comes to 3-man route concepts. You don't need a clear out. That's the reason. A lot of people think you have to do something like this, where you need a clear out route from someone. You don't need a clear out route, especially not what I've seen this year. Sometimes if they're really pressing their coverage and you want to hit something like a post or something, you might have to. If they're bringing like their deep zones down here or something, you might have to. But a lot of times you're not going to have to have a clear out. No reason to waste Andrews on this route. Might as well put him on a drag or something to help give you some more flexibility, give you another real option. We're looking at 3-man route combos. A lot of people run 2-man route combos instead, thinking they're 3-man route combos. That's the biggest thing when it comes to max pro route combos. Don't give yourself only 2 options. Give yourself realistic options to throw anywhere on the field. Okay, so this is a setup I like to do either when people start running like cover 4 shells on me, so something along the lines of this right here, where and they have 2 hooks right here. They're sending 3 people, or they start blitzing about 6 people, and I know I can pick it up with my 6. Their 6 beat my 6, I know I can pick it up. Really, when they start leaving the middle of the field open, because look, they have 2 vertical hooks, they have a 3-man pass rush. Sometimes they'll do something like this, and they have just their user over the middle of the field. But right here, we'll give them 2 vert hooks, or 2 hook curls rather. And this is when we want to start attacking the middle of the field, because we know that they just don't have enough people to cover everything. And what we're going to do is, the setup is very simple. It is going to be you want to make sure, let me get back to the beginning where I can tell you guys how to do the setup before I get too far into it. I get a little ahead of myself sometimes. So the first thing you want to do is hitch B. Okay, you have to do that first, or else when you motion over X, he won't be able to become a hitch anymore. You're going to drag Y, and then we're going to motion over X, and then we're going to hitch him. And then we're going to snap him as he gets past the tight end. So right here, snap him, boom, and you're able to see we have we have 2 things attacking the middle of the field. We have 2 hitches, which require 2 different zones to sit down on them. So we're forcing resources right there. But what you can't forget is we have our tight end corner route, and that's the big thing. So this is a pretty common setup right here. And I'm going to show you what happens when they do not double flat. You're able to throw it. Now, low ball might be a little bit better sometimes. It's really up to your discretion. But you guys can see how this is attacking, this is forcing someone to sit in the middle of the field. A flat zone's not going to play out there, and if they only have one hook curl right here, say they want to send pressure, and they're running the same coverage again, you know what they're doing, you know they're not keeping anyone in the middle of the field, and it could be because they're sending pressure. It could be because they're sending pressure and they're doing something like this, Let's say they're doing something like this. That's fine. That is fine because there's not enough. Say they double flat this side to take away the corner and the flat or the underneath route, whatever that might be. There's just not enough zones on the field to cover everything. It's really that simple. They do not have enough zones to cover everything. Right here we see the hitch is open. The only way you're going to be able to stop this offense is sending some crazy kind of blitz along with getting some crazy kind of crossmans. Or honestly, the only way you can really beat this offense is if you yourself don't make the read. Everything here is for you. You have to identify what the defense is doing, and everything else is honestly on you. That's really the best way to put it. This route concept is not like against like a regular Tampa 2. It's not great because the hitches are going to be covered by the vertical hooks. The drag will beat the cloud, but it's not. This isn't what we're looking for. We're not looking for. We want to attack the middle of the field when no one is in the middle of the field. That's the best way to put it. And that's the smartest way to think about it. Attack the middle of the field when no one is in the middle of the field. If you want to get a little different, you could do something like this just to throw them off. And you want to snap them a little bit sooner. You don't have to though. But if they're doing something like this, this is a very common coverage shell, and you see how we have our hitch right there, and we're able to pick up decent yards. So our next setup for post is going to involve some motion again. We're going to be motioning over our X receiver, and what we're going to be doing is it's going to be a 5-man route concept again. We're going to be putting we're going to have the same smash on the right side with our wheel and the tight end, but then we're going to be putting X on a drag and Y on a curl, and this is just going to create a lot of frustration for just about every kind of defense. We have the flood on the left side, we have a flood on the right side, and we have a curl sitting in the middle of the field, so the user either needs to have a curl or a vert hook right there, or something along those lines. As you can see, the wheel's open, we have that open, boom. There's a lot of things open in this play. This is a very frustrating play for people to have to defend. If they want to do something, if they want to come out in a cover 4 shell, this is another great way to beat a cover 4. Once again, they just don't have the resources to defend everything. Let's say they do something like this. This would be a good way to stop it, or this would be a good way to start combating what we've been doing, right? So they do something like this. Boom. And then we can snap him when he's like right here. We don't have to let him set. But the thing is, our corner route's still open on the outside. So to be able to take away everything, you have to start really over-adjusting on defense. And honestly, a lot of people aren't going to be doing that because a lot of people don't want to have to run a defense that looks like this. A lot of people don't want to have to do that, with another flat and, him in a purple to take away the corner route. A lot of people don't want to do that. A lot of people don't want to have to run a defense like this because it's not smart. It's not a smart defense. Along with the fact that to defend everything, you're sending 3 people. And like I suggested, if you have a fast quarterback, you're going to be off. Like, it's really that simple. Like I've said before, the only way you're not going to be scoring touchdowns in this offense is if you mess up. As simple as that. The routes aren't going to get bagged. As long as you do what you're supposed to do, the routes aren't going to get bagged. It's really as simple as that. I'm going to show this play one more time. Here we go. We have the corner route, we have the drag, and we have that right there. So if they start having to run all over the place with their user, take away our dual side smash concepts, we have the curl just sitting in the middle of the field right there. It's just sitting right there. If they're sending 6, so let's say they send something like this. So here we go. We're sending 6 right here. Contain a defense someone might run is something like this. So we have our user. So let's see what the mid read does. We'll have the mid read mimic our user right here. Snap it. Boom. There's not enough zones to cover everything. There really isn't. Right there, I'm gonna jump into this replay. I'm gonna show you what happens with the mid read. Okay, so this is our user. He sits right here. Either you sit on the drag or you go to the curl. You don't have. There's nothing else you can do. And not even to mention, right here the safety was pulled down by our wheel. So the safety can get pulled down by the wheel. You could throw that over top. Plus, you can lowball that ball right here. There's unlimited amount of things that you can do from this play. This is why this is the best play in the game. Alright, so the next play we're going to be showing is going to be as simple as we're going to have the same little flood concept right here. And we can get kind of creative. This play is kind of up to your imagination, but I'm going to show you. So I want to hitch the backside slot receiver before I motion. And then we can do a few different things with Andrews. We can send out 5 routes by putting him on a curl and have a little high-low on the left side along with a smash. We want a streak X as well. Or we can block Andrews. We want some extra blocking. It's really up to you. It's up to you and what kind of defense the player is playing. But the reason we want the streak over here is because if you have someone fast enough, Boykin might be fast enough, I'm not sure. But against a cover 3 especially, he's going to get bumped. And he'll be able to get a step. Now, that time he wasn't able to get a super big step. But you can see if they start either over adjusting or it's a cover 3, you'll be able to get a step. I'm going to motion over Brown this time. And it's the same idea where instead we're just going to do something like this, where we have the backside in route. And we're still able to block 5 or 6 people rather. And let's put this in a cover 3. Cover 3 sky. Press it. And we're going to see what happens with Brown. See, cover 3s are going to beat over top, and it's a very, very easy way to get a quick touchdown, basically. Cover 3s, if you press a deep third this year, they will bump, and if you have someone fast, like a Philip Dorsett, a Tyreek Hill especially, or a Marquise Brown, like I have right here, he's going to be able to go. You could leave this post route if you wanted to. I don't like to. I don't like to do it by itself. But if you want to, you can. It's really up to you what kind of creativity what kind of route combos you want to have based on what the defense is doing. You could even block the running back, do this. There's a lot of different things you could do. It's really, really up to you. Right here, I mean, you see. But that's one of the biggest things that I like to do is, or especially if I just think someone's over adjusting. If they're sending 6 people at me, and I think I can pick their 6 up with my 6, and I know they've been over adjusting, or even if I just want to see if they've been over adjusting, there's nothing wrong with, you can't go wrong with motioning over Marquise Brown, and just seeing if they've been running a coverage something like this. You know what I mean? Say they've been getting really adjusted. They're sending 6 people at me, and let's say they're doing all types of weird stuff where they're cross manning. They're usering right here. They don't think that I'm going to streak them. And they're given the responsibility, the tight end and the halfback. And they say their blitz is going to get in. And it's really simple as if they think I'm over adjusting, you obviously we got sacked there, but you can expose people over adjusting as simply as that. And that's something that you have to remember is as you don't always have to be complex on offense. This is really a very basic route combo with just a simple flood. That's all it is. It's just a simple flood. But as your offense starts moving the ball and people start getting more complex, that's when you just get simpler. Because this is really a very basic, standard route combo, and we're going to be able to get something decent out of it. Because they've been frustrated. Now, I really do like the backside hitch. I really do, because flat zones don't play, so you're forcing a vertical hook over there. But it's really up to you. You can run this concept right here. And if they don't have a backside vertical hook, this is going to be open. Boom. get creative. This play is, the potential for this play is quite literally unlimited, and I cannot stress that enough. This play is just amazing. There's all types of stuff you can do with this play. Alright, so our next play that we're going to be going over in the gun ace slot offset is going to be the play smash. Now this is more of a specific play. We're going to be beating a specific zone in this, and it's going to be cover 2. When we know people are running a cover 2 defense on our trip side, we are going to be running this kind of route combo. Now you see right here in this play stock, we have a very deep corner. We have this hitch, which is kind of nice. We have a seam buster, and we have a weird kind of corner route. Now I'm not a huge fan of this corner route, and the seam buster I'm not really a huge fan of either, because it doesn't push back a deep half. So I like to streak him. I like to put X on an out route, and I like to curl A, and I like to run this setup like this, where we motion him in, snap him, and you see how we're going to be able to get wide open against a Tampa 2 defense right here. And then along with that, we do have the backside curl, which is going to stay inside of seam flat, or stay inside of flat zones over there. Along with that, the out route isn't bad against clouds. It definitely isn't bad against clouds. But this play is a bit of a one-hit wonder. I won't lie to you guys that we are really going for one thing here, and it's to simply get over top of that cloud. So once again, we're going to motion him in. Boom. He's wide open. We're going to do it. I'll show you guys that this does work against a regular baseline as well. But this play will not work against a cover 3. It will not work against a cover 4. It's really meant to get over top of that cloud. That's all it's meant to do. Boom. Here we go. Cloud sucks down. Boom. Easy dot. And then because this play is meant to attack one coverage, I'm going to show a couple of different setups in this play, just in the same clip right here, where instead we're going to do something like this, and we're going to be able to have double drags, kind of just to give the user a different look, just so they're not able to just immediately see the out route and go. You see how he sucks down because of the drag, and if we're able to keep our feet in, we're able to get a very large dot right there. We could also do something along these lines where we motion them in and do this. Boom. You want to get that ball a little bit more to the sideline, but you can motion in the hitch, and it is pretty cool what the hitch can do still. So something like this, because the hitch just kind of holds the user down, or it keeps them, make sure they have to have something underneath, and then you have this underneath. You want to throw that a lot sooner than I did. That's the only problem with having the drag from the backside, is that it does take a little bit longer for that cloud to come down, but it's still viable. It's still a very viable throw. See right here, boom, dot. And you really just have to get used to the timing on the throw. You can get creative with it. You can get a little bit different. You can do something along these lines where you're motioning Boykin all the way over, you know, to recreate what we were doing in post, and boom, have him on a drag. And that's a good play. I like that just due to the fact that it just creates another look. That's all it's doing. It's creating another look, and we're keeping plays looking the same. You could do something as simple as this even, where you keep him on a hitch, you motion him across. Right here. You have a low ball right there if they don't have a zone, and boom. So the only thing playing that hitch is the vertical hook. And what I mean by that is, I'll show you what happens if I just have the cloud over here. So we're going to blitz Dante Hightower. We just have a cloud. Boykin. I'm going to show you what happens even when the cloud's sitting there. So this is a bailout option. Now, a lot of times he'll catch it and fall down. It's about 2 to 3 yards. It's not great. It's not supposed to be great. It's about 2 to 3 yards. But it is something that we can use that is viable, that can help us. We could also even, motion all the way across, let him set. And, maybe we want to do something like this. We have that backside trail. We have this. But once again, this whole play is about beating deep halves, or Tampa 2 on that side. So deep half up top and the cloud right here. We're going to get over top clouds every single time, but like I said, if you try doing this on a cover 3, it's not going to be super successful, which is why I like to have other routes along with the play, just because to give us like something to fall back on. That's why I like having that curl in the backside, because there's a chance that if I guess wrong, I can still be okay. But you see how that is going to bag that. That deep third is going to bag it, deep quarter is going to bag it. Man coverage will even bag this as well. But the whole purpose of it is to get above clouds and to start dictating what your opponent has to do, because the only way to stop it is to start zoning out over here. And if they run a coverage like this on this side, then we have our corner route from posts that's going to beat that quarter. Or if they start clouding it, we have the fly route in posts to start beating it. Okay, so the play that we're going to be showing now is going to be the play post wheel shallow. And we're going to first show it up against a Tampa 2. We're going to go through the coverages just like we've been doing with everything else. This is a pretty cool play because of the wheel and the S post. That's what makes this play very unique. And the first setup we're going to be showing you guys is going to be a setup that's looking like this, where we create a high-low on this side along with the double drags. So we have a mesh concept underneath, we have a post route, and we have a comeback. And I'm going to show you what happens if, let's say they're in a stock cover 2. Boom. Obviously the drag is going to beat the cloud flat, it's going to stay underneath it. If they start hard flatting that side, you will have the comeback. I'll show the comeback. We'll show it against something like so let's say something like this, right? Which is obviously, this is going to get open, and that's all fine and dandy. But then I'll show you this post route on our next play. So once again, we get sacked, but you see how that corner route is very, very open. Or not the corner route, rather the comeback route is very, very open. But the really cool thing about this is this S post. I'll show you it against like a cover 3. We have something looking like this. This S post is really, really good. But only thing, it does take a second to get open. A deep third will match onto it. That is one thing to note, that a deep third will match onto this. But a lot of times people are running straight deep thirds. They are running something along the lines of this. So, or even like this. A lot of people won't put deep thirds because if they press a deep third, you can just streak your outside receiver and don't beat them. So they run something like this where they have deep quarters because that is what you want to run to make sure you don't get beat over top. And you're doing something along this lines. You're going to see how this S post is able to be thrown as soon as it breaks, really. As soon as it starts breaking, you're able to throw this because we have the drag pushing out the fly on that side. Another thing is against a Tampa 2, we're able to do it as long as they don't have a mid-read, because the mid-read is one of the best zones in the game. We're going to spy him out to pretend he's our user, because that is who people use typically. Motion out, creating the high-low on that side. And we're going to see what happens with the S-post. Boom. So you see how the S-post is very useful. And that's a good way to be able to create a high-low on the right side with another route that almost has to be usered. So that's what I have for our first setup of this play. Alright, so the second setup we're going to have from this play is that we're going to put B on a hitch, and we're going to put our wide receiver on an in and A on a streak. And so this is how we're going to look, and we're going to see how this is going to be a lot of coverages. It's going to be able to stay over top of a lot of coverages. And you see how the mid-read is about to play it. Now, the only thing about the S-post is that it does take a while to get open, which is the only thing that kind of keeps me from running this play a lot more than I do. We're going to see if we're able to get the time on it, especially having someone like Lamar. We're able to get it, and we're able to see how the S-post is going to be able to sit in a spot where it gets open. It's very easy to throw. This setup right here is very good against people that are bringing more pressure. Against a coverage-based defense, it will have a little bit more troubles. But we do have that hitch as a nice little check down if they don't have a vertical hook above it. We have the in route as it's something going over the middle. So you see right here, the in route will, if he doesn't get beat, I like to lowball that typically. It will stay underneath the cloud, which is something that's kind of cool to note. Right here, here's the setup again. You really just have to have good pocket for this, or you have to be either scrambling or you have to have good pocket for this, because it does take time to develop. I won't pretend like it doesn't. It takes time to develop, but when it does develop, there is a very good route. Once again, setting up like this. This time we go against like a cover 3, where, oops, we have a cover 3 right here. And we're going to snap the ball. Boom. Where we get it. Now the deep third is only going to match. I don't know totally the rules on it because he won't match every time. It's kind of inconsistent that I've found so far. I think it is somewhat of a press thing. If he's pressed, I think he will. If he isn't, he won't. Because right here we see if we press him, I believe he should match. That deep third should match onto it because there's not another route going deep on his side. He doesn't. So I'm thinking the hitch is holding him in place right here. So this play will be able to actually beat deep quarters, deep thirds, whatever. This post route will be open in that pocket against everything as long as you give yourself the time to be able to throw it. Right here, we're going to see it against like a quarters look. And remember, if someone's running quarters on you, that means other stuff is going to be open in the middle of the field. So right here, this is a pretty popular setup. Boom. Now the hitch route is open, but we have the S post if we have time. But once again, take your check downs right there. If someone's running quarters on you, throw the hitch route. That's what you have to do. Alright, so our third setup is going to be a max protect setup, and this is one of my favorite max protect setups that we have out of this formation. We're going to be motioning B across. We're going to put him on an in route, and we are going to be putting Y on a streak, and we're going to block A. So this is what we're looking like. We're going to snap the ball. And we're going to see how we have the in route. In route's open right there. This is obviously, you don't want max protect against someone sending 4 people. There's no reason to do that. That's stupid. But against someone sending some real pressure, you need a max protect. And we still have a post that does get open against basically every coverage. We're going to be able to get this thing open against basically every coverage. And with a max protect, you will have more time if you guess wrong. So they will have to use that post essentially. But you want to make sure that you don't you're not running this play against people that are setting 3-man rushes. Now you don't have to have the clear out. The clear out is nice to push back like inside quarters, but you don't need it against anything else. So what you could do is something like this, where you have double drag, or you have a drag in, so you have a trail concept coming on that side, or you can even put him on a flat, so you're able to hit him as soon as he cuts, where that flat zone won't keep with them. Right here, that mid-read did play the post because there was nothing else holding it. Another thing you can do with this play for a max protect setup, like I said in the post video, you just got to get creative with your max protect setups because there's a lot of good routes in this entire formation. You just have to know how to use them. So right here, we're able to playmaker him. Boom. There we go. So the mid-read right there got pulled back by the streak. Once again, we're going to boom, put him on a hitch, motion him over. And this is no different. This is basically a bunch route concept here. We have a post over in the middle, we have a hitch, and boom. It's as simple as a bunch route concept from something like a slot, which is different, which gives you the ability to really run the ball, and we have a lot of other things that we can do out of it. But that's going to be our max protect setup. That's our main one, our main couple of ones. Just get creative with it out of this play. There are other things you can do in terms of max protecting. The wheel route is useful against certain coverages. It just all depends on what your opponent is doing. But I really do like to run plays that if I guess wrong, I still have options. That's why I really like this play with the in route, because even if I guess wrong, I have 2 routes going over the middle of the field, and there's a good chance I'm able to get something open, even in max protect or max coverage situations. Alright, so this video is going to be showing, or this play setup rather, is going to be showing how we're going to be beating man coverage out of this play. And this is a real big part of why we like this play, and we have it in our audibles, is because of this wheel route. Now I'm going to show you what happens right here. We're just going to snap it stock, and we're going to see how, boom, that's going to beat the hell out of man coverage. Now the deep half can help get there a little bit, but it won't be able to get there every time. And especially if they start running like a cover one robber, it's not going to be able to get there very consistently. Now if someone's running man coverage, the setup I like to do a lot of times, people most of the time will be running man coverage like this. So I like to motion across Boykin, and I actually did set this up wrong immediately, so we're just going to throw the ball away. So what you want to do first actually is you want to come back Boykins. You want to put Boykin on a comeback, then motion him across. And once again, we're giving ourselves the opportunity with this play setup right here, where if we guess wrong, we have a high-low on the right side to create a flood concept. We have a wheel route, which can get open against if they hard flat, and we have a drag. So it's all about making sure we have setups where if we guess wrong, we can still be okay. We can make something out of it. I'm going to show you what happens if we, let's say they do something like this. This is a pretty popular man setup, and we're going to show you how the wheel is open. You want someone fast right there. You need someone with speed, but this is against the Patriots defense too. This is the fastest defense in the league, and that was the best I've seen it get bagged in a long time. I will show you guys the same play setup real fast. Once again, yeah, this kind of setup looking. The comeback is going to beat man, and we have two drags underneath. Once again, let me show you. Boom. He's gone. We're just going to possession catch it, go down. You see how this wheel route is going to beat man a lot of the time. And then along with that, I will show you guys how the comeback is beating man. But it's been like this for basically every Madden where the comebacks will beat man pretty consistently. You just want to make sure you learn the timing on it. Right here, that was against, I'm not sure who that is, but he had his little superstar thing show up underneath. So that's getting open on him. It'll get open on just about everybody. But say we accidentally mess up, we guess wrong, whatever it might be, and they're running a cover 2, right? We still have options. We can still throw this. We can still throw the drag on the other side. If they're running like a cover 3 hard flat, I'll show you what's nice about this. It's as simple as this. Snap the ball. So they're in the hard flat, and there you go. So we're giving ourselves options. That's the biggest thing. Keep your options open with these route concepts. Even though they're designed, this is a man-beating play. I run this play when I think it's going to be man coverage. I'm giving myself the option to beat every other coverage along with that. Along with the fact that, like always, we want to have a fast quarterback. It's not, you don't have to, but you want to have someone fast because if a play breaks down, you want to be able to take off. It's as simple as that. Alright, so now for the gunny slot offset run game, what we like to do is we have 2 runs that we really go in between, and that's going to be the 0-1 trap, and it's going to be the RPO slot bubble. And the reason we use this instead of the inside zone is that it's the same as inside zone, except we have a slot bubble option. And this is one of my favorite things to run because it starts forcing people to have to match up man for man. So say they start, let's say they have a blitz, right? And they start bringing him in, they're containing, whatever. And you can really as simply say, hey, I'm going to throw the bubble. Like, that is what the beauty of RPOs is, and that's one of the beauties of this formation, where if they don't match you man for man on the outside, you will be able to throw that bubble. If they want to run something like 3-4, and they want a baseline, you will be able to throw this bubble, and he'll pick up his block, and you can get very good yardage. So that's the biggest thing. That is as simple. If I ever see it like that, where if I ever see where that they're misaligned for some reason like this, I'm audibling to the bubble, and we're throwing the bubble. But if I have this in my run audibles, or in my audibles rather, because we can just hold A and we can just run the ball. Right there, we got shedded immediately. It is practice mode, and every practice mode ever made, the sheds are a little ridiculous. But this is a solid run. Right here, we're able to see that that our blocking holds up, and we're able to take it up the middle for a decent gain. But so that's really simple to see. It's really a numbers game. If you always want the option to throw the bubble. That's why I don't choose inside zone. That's why I choose this, because we have the option to throw the bubble. Even against this, you can still throw the bubble and have decent success. It's not great, but you can. Or even if it's a look like, let's see if I get another kind of nickel set. So yeah. So if they're running something where you know they're blitzing that nickel corner and they're running like a cover 2, we'll say something like this. You can still throw this bubble. If you know he's blitzing, boom. You can still throw that bubble as long as you know he's blitzing. If he's zoned out, there's a good chance that it will get tackled. But very rarely will it get picked. Now, the second run play is going to be 0-1 trap. I don't really use this play that much. It's not my audibles, but I do like to mix it in every once in a while against certain sets. Like against like 3-4 sets, I like to run. So like some like 3-4 odd. You know, where I know I'm going to be trapping that defensive end. Boom. And we're able to get to the outside. I don't really like to run this against sets that don't have a nose tackle though. But against sets like this, I do like it quite a bit. But I don't really run it that often. It's not my audibles, like I said. I don't run the ball very often in general. So when I do, I like to give myself the RPO option, just in general. But those are the 2 run plays I run. You can mess around with some of the other ones. Read option isn't bad. But these are the 2 that I run just because I throw the ball the majority of the time. I'm typically always throwing the ball. But that's the run game from gun a slot offset. You can definitely tote if your heart desires. As you see, you know, we're able to get out to the edge and we're able to take off. If you want to tote, you can. I just don't use it for that, but the option's definitely there if you want to kill clock. Alright guys, so now in this one I will be showing you my favorite 2-point conversion play, and it's going to be out of different formations. It's actually going to be out of wing flex weak, and the play is going to be hitch corners, okay? We can do this against any kind of play. Typically in the red zone, people are going to be playing zone defense, so for the sake of it, we're going to play zone defense. Now all we're going to do is we're going to motion Ingram across our running back. We're going to put him on a wheel. We're going to put A on a curl. We're going to put Y on a flat route. And our 2 biggest targets are a low ball to Andrews and a low ball to Brown. Okay, so we're going to snap the ball, and we're going to see what we can do. Right here, we have the low ball. Boom, easy. Okay. Now you can get a little bit creative with this setup if you want to, but this is the main setup I do. A lot of people, when they see that halfback motion across, they start usering on that side because they assume it's there's a reason behind it, which is why I really like doing it. I put him on a wheel because people go to him. Once again, against this one, we're able to hit that low ball right there. The wheel also will pull out the flat zone to give that hitch, that backwards hitch, is more of a ghost route. From Andrews a chance to get open as well. So we're going to see right here, Andrews, low ball, easy. We have 2 really good low ball options in this play. This play has already won me games, to be honest with you. It's a really good play. But I mean, you could get creative with this. There's no reason you can't do something like this if you really wanted to. You could get really wild with this, it doesn't matter. But the basis of it is the same, where you have 2 really good low ball options, and you just want to take advantage of those the best you can and keep the user away from it. If you can keep the user away from both of them, that's ideal, but because of how spaced out they are, obviously a user can't get both of them. Now, if you think someone's setting pressure, which typically doesn't happen, you can block 6 right here, or if you really wanted to, I mean, there's no reason you can't do something like this. And can he block? Yeah. If you really wanted to, you could do something like this and hit that low ball kind of fast. Although, I don't really recommend that. Right there, he saw basically a pick because you want both. So people don't really send pressure like that in this situation. So I typically will send out 5. And if someone is blitzing, you have this check down really fast to be able to try to fight your way to the end zone. But this is really good from the 2-yard line, especially. But you can do it from either hash if you're not in a 2-point conversion, if you're just like in the red zone. You can do something like this too, block 6, and you have this low number right here. Both were bagged, so you have to understand sometimes when they will get covered. I'm not sure what it's covered by, but sometimes don't force it. Especially if you have a fast quarterback, you can always do something like this, where you can just take off and you're able to get it. So that's it for my 2-point conversion play from this. It's very, very, very good. I like it a lot. And don't forget that you can always run the ball as well. Alright, everybody, so if you've ever been inside the 10-yard line before in Madden, you know things get very condensed and it's very hard to actually score the ball. Now, I have two real suggestions for when you're inside the 10. My first suggestion is to run the ball. Just run the ball, especially if you're close to the goal line. Run the ball. There's no reason to throw the ball 3 times when you're within the 10-yard line. Now, if for some reason you are going to be passing the ball, which, like if it's third down, second and long, whatever it might be, from about, this play works from about the 7 to about the 4, run the play smash. And I'm going to show you up against a random zone defense. Now, I will say, I'll be 100% honest with you guys, this play will not be completed every time. Okay, so what we're setting it up as, we're going to be smart routing the X receiver. So he's on a hitch, that's smart routed. We're going to put B on a flat. And then everyone else is up to your discretion. I like to put double curls right here. Okay, now we are looking for the low ball to the hitch on the X receiver. This will not be completed every time, but it will never be picked. And it's going to be completed about 75% of the time because it's going to get into a weird pocket. And I'm going to show you right now. So right here you see how, boom, easy touchdown. We have the flat defender outside us. We have the deep defender behind us. And it's an easy touchdown. Okay. It's just cool that this play you know is not going to get picked. Once again, boom, touchdown, it's easy. Now the biggest thing is with your quarterback, you want to make it as short of a throw as possible because that gives less time for the defense to react on it. If you roll out the other way, it will get picked. If you roll out backwards too far, there's a good chance it will get picked. But if you stay in the pocket, you should be fine. Right there, it was an inaccurate pass, but we see how it's just not getting picked. And that's the biggest thing because we don't want to get all this way to throw a pick. That's why I'm going with a safe throw instead of maybe a riskier throw that, for whatever reason, I like better. It's a very safe throw, which is why I like it. And as you're seeing right here against random defenses, I don't know the coverage. I'm throwing this every time, and it's getting decent results. Once again, boom. Now, with this receiver, you want someone with high catch and traffic so they actually hold onto the ball because the worst is when they drop it. But we're going to show it one more time right here how it won't get picked. We're going to show it one more time how it won't get picked. We got sacked right there. Here we go. We got it. Boom. That's the only bad thing about the play is that sometimes he will dive out to actually possession catch it, which is kind of annoying. But you see how, once again, it's not picked, and it's a very, very efficient, open, safe throw. Okay? I recommend trying this in practice mode before your first time trying it in a game, just because there is a little bit of timing to it. I'm very used to it, so you don't want to just snap throw it. But that is my favorite red zone pass play in this entire playbook, and I really think it's going to help you guys score more touchdowns when you're inside that 10-yard line. Alright, so the next thing I want to show you guys is going to be a cover 3 bomb. This is really important to have in your arsenal just to be able to keep people honest. We're going to go to a cover 3. We'll go to cover 3 from, it doesn't really matter. We want actual cover 3. We can do a cover 3 hard flat from 2-4-5. Okay. And it's going to be out of the wheel post play that we have here, that we have a few setups out of. And it's really going to be against a pressed cover 3. It will work against a not pressed cover 3, but it's best against a pressed cover 3. And it does matter a little bit where that safety is coming from. So you see he's up high on the trip side right here. So we're going to streak our backside tight end as well. And it's going to be as simple as this. And you're able to see that we are able to get it right there. We're able to bomb cover 3 over the top. This works better when it's something like this, or it's a baseline and the safety is rolling over. So if it's something like this instead, that's when this works the best. But it is still usable with the safety on the same side as you saw right there. Once again, you see how the deep third on the left side just does not care. So we saw right there where baseline, it works especially well when the safety is rolling over top. When it's like this, it works, but you need that backside streak to kind of hold that deep third. But the main thing is streaking the outside receiver, motioning him in and snapping him right behind this slot. You're going to see, watch the corner on the left side, he just forgets about him. And right there we drop a touchdown. But right there, that is a very easy cover 3 beater. I'm going to show it one more time. Regular baseline. you could easily do this in a setup. We're blocking 7, we're bombing it. Over top right here. And right there, we're unable to get it, and we actually end up throwing a pick because that safety was on that same side. So it's super important to make sure that the safety is on the opposite side, or else you could end up throwing a pick, or typically it's incompletion, but you could end up throwing a pick. But this is going to be the cover 3 bomb. I really don't suggest using this very often, just because it's so hard to be able to get deep throws off in this game with the new throwing animations, as I'm sure you guys have noticed in the game. So use this at your own discretion. Okay, everybody, so something else I wanted to throw in this video, and it's a little hard for me to do because there hasn't really been a meta set yet. It's blitz pickup, blitz protection, and the best way I can do it is by showing you the 3-4 odd blitz. So we're going to pick the play posts here, and the 3-4 odd blitz is it's very similar to 5-2, and this is a setup, and a lot of people use her like a safety or something. So they're sending 7, everyone's at the line, and I will show you what happens if I don't have the proper pickups. We would get sacked almost instantly. It's very, very fast, and it gets even worse if you start scheming your team around this blitz. Now, there's ways to pick it up. In practice mode, picking up with 7 like this might work. Let's see. No, so it doesn't. So even like that, it doesn't work blocking 7, so you can't just block 7. But I'm going to show you the best way I've found to pick it up, and this has worked for most blitzes I've dealt with. Now, mind you, there's no meta right now in terms of blitzes, so there will be an update to this ebook at a later date, probably within a month and a half, 2 months, and at that point I'll be able to have a better idea. But the best way we're going to be able to pick this kind of blitz up right now, or any blitz for that matter, and you just want to make sure you have enough people to block it. As long as you have enough people blocking, so right here, we're going to block 7, and we're going to pinch. And the reason we're doing that is because pinching has given me the best results. So right now you see we pinch, and we're able to block everybody, and we're able to throw something open. Now the biggest thing is just make sure that you have enough people to pick up the blitz. Now if this was nickel blitz, where this guy was coming from out here, so let's say for example it was something like this, you could tell yourself that, hey, I'm going to be able to make a read before he gets to me, and that is a good idea. But with him being inside like this, you don't have time to make a read. There's just no time. So like I said, the best way to pick this up that I found so far is simply by pinching your line and making sure that you have as many people blocked as they have on the line of scrimmage that can instantly sack you. And it doesn't matter who you block, it doesn't matter which people you block, but you want to block enough people to match who they have, who could instantly come and get you. Because if it's slot corner, you have some time, but like I said, if they're on the line of scrimmage, you just won't have the time. So that is what we have to do. Now, the next thing I want to talk about, and this is going to be kind of a short little clip over because I don't have the best ones yet. I am currently still working on them, but the next thing I want to talk about is some more 3-man route concept. Now, I've put a few out there in the base plays, but just in case, like against this kind of defense, you don't know if they're sending everyone or if they're sending nobody. So what we have to do is start having plays that can attack it. Now, if you know that they're going to be sending some major heat sometimes, you can run these 3-man route combos, and eventually they're going to work. Now, some of my favorite ones to run are stuff as simple as this, because if they're sending 7 people, there's a good chance that they will not have this covered. And it's really, 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 right there, we forgot to pinch, so we got sacked instantly. You see what happens if you forget to pinch. It's very bad. You don't have time to make a read. So boom. It's a very simple concept, but I like it very much. Right here, we're able to pick it up. And a lot of times, because the thing is, when people start sending heat like that, they just don't have enough. They don't have enough zones to start taking advantage of it. And so that's a nice little gadget play right there. Another really nice one is this play right here, because what a lot of people start doing is they'll go into something like this, where they'll run a defense similar to this, right? And you know, they might be using it over here, or even if this is their user, say this is their user, right? We'll just put them in a mid read, you want to be able to pick. You want to have something that can attack this. So what you can do is something as simple as this, where you motion Sneed across. And we have something as simple as this. It's very simple. And if we're able to actually get blocking, you'll be able to see that wheel will be for a touchdown. So you want to have things that can take advantage of people playing very aggressive defenses. This wheel does a great job at it. I'll show you another very good concept with it right now. So let's say they're sending 6 people, right? This is our user. And we want to block 7 because we don't know if they're sending everyone or not. Now, eventually, it does become a bit of a guessing game, but to a certain extent, like you just have to sometimes block 7 every play. Here we go. Pick up the pressure, and we just need to be able to get the time for it, and we're able to throw a dot over the middle like that. Another really good play is posts because we can do something like this where we hitch him, we curl A, and we do something like this. Boom. And the reason this is good is because this is attacking the middle field at 3 different levels. And when people are sending pressure, it's very hard for them to defend all those different levels. It's just very, very hard to do. Now, you could do something if you wanted to, because they are going to have to start over adjusting. And this is something that J-Wall does very well, is knowing when someone's setting pressure and finding routes that will be able to beat that. Is something as simple as this, where you have an out route right here, and this will make a very good little check down for if they are using that flat themselves. Because if they're using that flat themselves against your offense, having that out route right there will force them to stay, along with having the hitch and the post right there. And both of those routes can get open depending on different max coverages as well. So if I do something like this and say I guess wrong, there's a decent chance that our post or our hitch can still get open. Right here, it was our post. But you see, you want to put route concepts on the field that can work against over-adjusting defenses that can really exploit them, but also have the chance to be able to get open against max coverage for if you guess wrong. But like I said, the biggest thing is to be able to pinch and get route combos that you're comfortable with. Those are a couple of my favorites, along with the ones I posted in the actual play-by-play guides. But make sure you pinch, and you'll be able to pick up basically every pressure. There will be an update to, especially this section, as the year goes on, because it's very hard to tell you exactly how to pick up all the popular blitzes when there just aren't any right now. This is another really good 3-man route concept. Creates a flood right there. We have that post. It's the same thing as post from earlier. We just drag A, and boom. Very, very simple. But that's all I have in terms of pass protection for you guys. I think this is one of the most important things that you can have in Madden 20 at this point, because you're taking sacks, you're not going to have good drives. Okay, everybody, once again, I want to thank you so much for purchasing this ebook. I hope you guys really found value in the content here. The Gun A slot is also found in the Panthers playbook has a very similar one. It's not offset, it's just Gun A slot. It's very similar. The Pats have a very similar one. Those are the 2 good ones I'm aware of. Like I said, this is in the spread ebook, or spread playbook rather. This offense, I think, is going to become very mainstream soon because of the fact that you can run the ball, you're able to pick up every pressure like I showed you guys. There's so many different things. You have every route you could possibly need out of this. This is very good. If you guys have any questions at all, please don't hesitate to hit me up on Twitter, hit me up in Discord, whatever it might be. All my contact information is going to be in somewhere in the text here on the page. So please don't hesitate to ask me with any questions, any feedback you guys have at all. I'm very open to it. I really tried putting out my best work right here. Once again, this will be updated in about a month to 2 months. We're only about 3 to 4 days into the game, so there's a lot of stuff in this formation I have not found yet, but I'm looking for every day. But please give me feedback, ask me questions. Thank you so much for purchasing once again, and I hope this offense really, really helps you take your game to the next level to start off this Madden season.